So we're going to try the Vandyke stitch first of all as in a column really. So I've drawn two parallel lines there that are about 1.5 centimeters apart. So this is just to show you it here. We can have a go at putting it into a leaf shape as well. What I did around the edge of this V for Vandyke stitch here is I did a back stitch after I'd done it. So this is what we're having a go with now. So what I've done is I've done my two parallel lines there, and just at the top I've put sort of two dots in the center really, and that's just to mark. You don't even really need to do that, but that's just to mark where we're going in for our first stitch. So it's sort of down the center for either side of it. So again, it's one that you can play around with the angle for this stitch. So the two lines that I've drawn here, if I come down about 1 centimeter here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the in at the right there of that dot that I've put, and out at the left. So what I've done is just caught a bit of the fabric in the center, pull that through. Oops, just move my turkey rug nut out the way, and then back over to the right. So again, I've done a cross stitch there. So now what I'm going to do is carry the thread behind and come out below, perhaps about 3 mils below that last that first stitch, sorry, that I went in there. Now what I'm doing is I'm not taking the needle into the fabric again. So all I'm doing is I'll use this blunt end of my needle and I'm just taking it under that cross stitch like that, and then I'm going over to the right and below that last stitch there, and it's just sort of pulling it down, and then I come back over to the left below that last stitch, and then I'm taking it under these last 2 stitches, so not back up to there, just under the last 2 that you've just done. Take that under there and go over to the right. So all you're getting on the back is a straight, sorry, here it is, a straight line. So I'll come up here on the left again, and again take it under the last 2 diagonal stitches and back over to the right. I think it could look a little bit like a centipede. So you just continue that for as long as you want to. And then over to the left. Wrap under. And then take it over to the right. If when you get to the bottom, you can always just come up more in the center there and just anchor down these stitches and then go back into the center. So I've just sort of held the last stitch round. So I've sort of come up in the middle, wrapped it round and taken it down so that it anchors and almost finishes that little plait off there. We'll just have a last quick go with trying the Vandyke stitch in a leaf before we move on to couching. So here I'm going to start at the left hand side, and for the first bit where we actually go into the fabric, I'll go either side there of the point of the leaf and over to the right, and then I'll come over to the left, and I'm just taking my thread under there, that first stitch, over to the right, and then over to the left, and we're just taking it, oops, under those last 2 stitches. When you do pull it through, it does sort of give it shape. So now I'm over to the left. And once I've gone under the last stitch, it sort of pulls it down into the shape. So you can see that sort of plaited look there down the centre. So we just continue like that to fill the leaf then. So just to finish the Vandyke stitch at the bottom there, I'll just now come up at the bottom left-hand side there of the leaf, take it under the last stitch, and then just take it into the point, and that just sort of finishes it off quite nicely and pulls it into shape. So you can see there, it gives a nice bit of texture. You could work these even closer together, so it's almost like a filling stitch. You could always do a straight stitch between every one of the veins here that's created in a slightly different tone as well, if you wanted to fill the leaf shape up.